All right, guys, let's knock this out so you guys can get a Saturday night with your families.
An ideal inside-outside game. Your inside was well, really good. You shot the three very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we showed up at the gym this morning for a little walkthrough, and we saw these 3-point signs, and I think it reminded us that we needed to shoot some threes. I think a better marketing ploy for our team would be if those signs said paint twos and free throws. I mean, that's what I'm looking for next time. But yeah, I mean, listen, we're a good shooting team, and the way and Ross is a really good defensive coach, and they have a really sound system, and we felt like some of those gaps was going to be a lot of tight help, and we can maybe get some throw heads in there, and our guys got some, and were able to knock some down. So that was great. It was great. Our guys did a great job of just kind of playing the game with concepts and there's great fundamentals and great purpose today.
A couple weeks ago, you said Braden Burries still have more to come. It's showing today. Is there still more to come from Burries?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, I'm not putting any ceilings on any of these guys. I mean, Braden, you can see today he had a good little bounce in his step and a good rhythm to his game. And, I think he's just getting a lot of confidence. He's getting a lot of confidence. And, Braden has he has amazing instincts, for a young basketball player. Now I think he's layering that with some experience where maybe he's understanding what's coming before it's happening a little bit more, and he's able to kind of manipulate certain situations. And, he's responding to situations in the game as opposed to reacting. So, that's a natural growth for a young player, and he's kind of in his sweet spot. I mean, I've always felt that, January would be a big month for him to make a big jump, and it looks to me like he is.
Do you remember the first time you saw him, and what were your impressions on that?
I mean, really good player. Yeah. I mean, probably first time I saw him was at one of those Section 7 tournaments up in Glendale, and yeah, I mean, you just saw a guard with good size, and just is he a point guard? Is he a two? Those are great conversations to have. That means you have a really good player. And so yeah, we saw him early, and we identified him as somebody that we thought would be a great fit for us. And then as we got to know him and his family, I mean, it was the perfect combination for us.
We're still feeling a lot better in the locker room after.
I mean, I'm assuming so. I mean, like Deli's a tough kid. And he's built for this. He's built for this. His journey probably hasn't been easy, and I know it hasn't been without adversity. So this is just another, bump in the road that he's had to deal with, but he's fine. And, I think the thing he's happiest about is our team continues to be successful, while he's been figuring it out. So it's great to see him play like that. And, yeah, I mean, I would, like I said before, I mean, my expectation is we're going to get the best out of Deli when it's needed. And that's a great attribute to have as a competitor.
It just looks like you have a team full of guys that don't really force the issue, and they kind of work themselves into a game. Is this the most selfless team that you've had so far?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not great. I don't need to compare one team to the next because this team's on its own journey. But I mean, you see guys starting to have an understanding of what we can do and how we can play together. And then I think the biggest thing is, I mean, I think the next step for us, and I've been talking to our guys about, is, we have a great leader in JB and Tobey, and we have high character, but I think our guys need to be a little more intentional, just being a player-led program down the stretch. Our staff's done the best job we could, putting them in position and trying to help them develop, and and helping them through adversity, and teaching. But now it's time for them to own the execution, own the fundamentals, own the effort, own the energy. I mean, come on. It's always better to own than rent, right? And at least I think it is. So these guys are, yeah, I mean, I think we're heading in the direction where they're owning it and they're understanding we have lots of good players. So I don't need to maybe be undisciplined and do something that's too aggressive, that's risky, because, we don't know what we could get 2 passes later. And I'm starting to see that come. But that doesn't mean that won't be challenged on Monday. I mean, it just remember, it doesn't go like this. I mean, there's bumps on the road, and hopefully you're trending up, but we know there's going to be some real challenges ahead.
So when you say owning it, do you mean specifically more responsible?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not nothing negative. I mean, I'm not negative. I just feel like, when you've been together every day for basically 6 months, and they've been hearing my voice a lot, And, and our staff's done an incredible job. Our staff's really developed, I think, over the course of this year. These younger coaches are starting to get a lot of experience and kind of come into their own, which has been really powerful. But now, the players got to kind of harness that and own it, and they need to be the catalyst for the next step. And, that's my hope.
Tommy, you rarely see a miscommunication on the court, that pass or an alley-oop that didn't work. Can you talk about the chemistry of this team, because it's obviously very good?
Yeah, I mean, the chemistry's good. I mean, these guys, they get along on and off the court. I think they really respect each other as people and as players, and I think they're playing with a shared purpose, and we talk a lot about purpose, vision, identity, values. I mean, those are things, when we're kind of building our culture, we focus on those things. And then and then the biggest thing is you got to be authentic about it, because, words, whatever, don't mean anything. It's actions and commitment to those words that matter. So our guys have done an incredible job, connecting and really coming together and have a shared belief system and how we want to be and what type of team we want to be.
The bigs are shooting more and more threes when they're open like that. Is that, at this point, is that ingrained, or are you still encouraging them to
No,
do
I mean,
that?
I never say anything to them about that. And, I might, tell them, hey, you probably didn't need that one there, or things like that. But, I think as you get deeper into the season and you get the rhythm of these games, those are just opportunistic ones. I mean, it's not like we're coming out of a timeout and saying, Mo, when you catch the ball up top, they're not going to guard you, let it rip. I mean, that's Mo's decision, because, I want that, again, the player has to own that decision. And if they own that decision and they've been working hard at it, hopefully they can reward themselves rather than having that decision come from me. So, I mean, if they, and I think you end up later in the season, you're on a good team. I've seen this happen in some of the good teams I've been part of the past. Teams come into these games and really just pick their poison. And so, maybe they're just saying, hey, we're going to not guard their bigs up top, and they take a chance with that. So, I mean, and you need to have the wherewithal to not let that bother you, but it's okay if those guys knock down an occasional top of the key three.
West Virginia shot less than 30% from field goal and 3-point in the first half. What did you tell your team anticipating that they would?
Well, so you're talking about coming out into the second half? I mean, I just told our guys, you made that happen in the first half. That just didn't happen. That wasn't the crowd. That was you guys. And so, you come out and recreate that again. And you got to make it happen. You make it happen with effort, energy, urgency, all those, coachisms. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job. I mean, listen, we didn't come out and have a 20-0 run to start the half, but it was steady. And, West Virginia, it's a high-character team and got a really good coach. They responded a few times, and then, we were able to kind of wear them out those last 10 minutes and, make the margin of victory maybe look a little wider than it really was.
BYU coming on Monday night, got a really good team, Richie Saunders, DeBonce, a couple of other players. What makes them so tough?
Well, they're a great team. They're a great team. They got a really good coach. They have a really strong basketball culture at BYU. Obviously, they got a great environment, and they're going to be excited to play. I mean, I'm sure they're focused, 100% on Utah today, just like we were focused on West Virginia. But we'll start our prep for the game tonight, and we know we're playing a really good basketball team, in a tough place to play. So we know it's going to be an incredible challenge.
Do you remember about that environment? Anything in particular about that?
It's wild. It's loud. It's impressive. all those great things. You should go sometime.
Have you seen Salt Lake are so expensive?
Well, I don't know. Drive.
It's got-
I coached him for a month. I've seen him play a lot.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what makes him so good, yeah.
I mean, first off, he's an incredible talent, and he's a great young man. I mean, that's the first thing you want to say about him. What I've always been impressed about with AJ is, not only is he a supreme talent, and when you guys watch the game, he's gonna do a few things in that game. You're like, wow. I mean, just the way he moves is different. is he leaves space in the room for the other players to be their best version of themselves too. And, a lot of times you get a young talent like him, and he's so talented, he can kind of suck the air out of the room because it all becomes about him and his talent. AJ's not like that. So AJ not only can be, the most talented player on the floor, he can also let their other talented players play really well. And I've always been impressed with that.
How did you create that with him in USA? Did that come by itself, or you're trying to create that? And yet, he averaged, 14? I assume he could over his double.
I didn't coach him any different than anybody else. I mean, I was, with AJ for basically a month, and he was great. I mean, we just treated him like everybody else, and I think that's what he wants. And I never talked to him about, it's all the things he had nothing to do with me. They were 100% natural and authentic to who he was. Talent, unselfishness, not afraid of the moment. So, yeah, and I just super impressive young man and basketball player.
When you say the way he moves is different, what do you mean by that?
I mean, I don't know if whatever, he's long. He's got great length. And, just the way he moves on the court and how much ground he can cover with his steps and his little hops and his length of his sweep throughs and all this stuff. And then, he's a great athlete. I mean, you'll just see. I mean, I don't know if I have enough descriptions, but he moves different and he moves like a really talented young basketball player, like really talented.
It's very rare to see your team out of control. How important is that going to be down this tough stretch of big ball play?
I mean, it's going to be great. We need to, continue to, understand we're going to be in a lot of tough moments and tough environments, and we got to stay steady and be poised. But again, I don't think we can't be afraid to make teams hit our fastball and be aggressive and still be in attack mode. And we don't need to be conservative. We're protecting nothing because we've done nothing. We're a program that's more excited about what lies ahead than protecting what we've already accomplished. And so what lies ahead for us is BYU. We feel great about how we played against West Virginia today, but that's soon to be in the rearview mirror.
That said, the record for a start is 21-0. You're at 20-0 now. How does that sit with you?
This is called the Bruce Pascoe jinx. Bruce, I'm going to go 1-0. I want to go 1-0 Monday. I want to go 1-0. I'm like the ones that come before it. I mean, I know it makes a great story for you, but inside our locker room, it's just not where our focus is. And I'm not trying to be, that old grouchy coach, but that's just the world we're living in right now. Is just let's great job today. Let's learn from it. On to the next one. Thanks, guys.
Questions for Tobe and Koa?
How impressive was Braden today?
He played well. He played great. He does what Braden does. He's a tremendous scorer, uber talented, and he shows it in practice and shows it in games. So, just really what I expected. Honestly.
How important was it to not look ahead to BYU and some of these bigger games coming up with an opponent like West Virginia that has had some quality games this year?
I think it's just important to take it one game at a time, understanding that, we have a target on our back. There's a lot of media attention. There's a lot of focus on us. So just knowing that every single team that's going to come in is going to give us our best shot.
For either of you, what does 20-0 mean? Mean anything?
I mean, to us, I think, like Tobe said, we're just taking it one game at a time, trying to win one game every week. However many games we have, we're just trying to take it one game at a time. And I think we've been doing a good job at, just getting ready for these games, getting prepared, and we've been victorious. So I think we got to keep doing what we're doing and keep getting better as a team.
You guys feel like defensively in particular, you're getting better. I mean, 2 games, you kept them under, what, 36% or something?
I mean, coach is always harping on us about, just playing defense, being in the stance, helping our brothers out when they get beat, simple stuff like that. But I think we were good defensively tonight, and we just keep getting better at that. Like I said, keep trying to get better at everything.
Is there any specific things like that, like you say, not getting beat? There's certain dynamics that are just working better defensively now that you're so far into the season that you just.
I would say just staying on our day ones, being locked in practice, and just coming out with the urgency to play defense.
How good is this front court of yours? You guys are almost interchangeable parts.
I am just uber talented. I think we're a group that looks out for each other a lot, with the high low and all that kind of stuff. So, and then credit the coach, he's putting us in position to be successful, drawing up plays, and all that kind of stuff where we can sort of work off each other. So, it's a pleasure to work with Mo and Koa, for sure.
Do you two and Mo have a green light when there's an open 3? Is there ever a situation where you're like, coaches wouldn't want us to do this?
I mean, coach just lets us go out there and play. He's not going to tell us it's a bad shot if we're open. He tells us to let it rip with confidence, and he tells that to all the players, not just the bigs.
Can you talk about the team's chemistry? When teams are really well or do well, you can't fake it. You know what I'm saying? You guys are pretty good with chemistry. Just talk about that.
Yeah, I think everybody's super close on the team, especially off the court, and that leads to on the court success. So I think we all want what's best for each other, and we're an unselfish group, and we all love each other. So yeah.
You guys have played in some pretty hostile environments like UConn this season. How is that going to help you guys for Monday night?
Honestly, it's just about staying true to who we are. Honestly, obviously, kudos to BYU. They're a great team. They're having a great season. But we just got to focus on what we do as a team. What's gotten us this far. Just the key things that have. That coach has been harping on, rebounding, defense, staying true to who we are, in terms of our identity. So, yeah.
Do you remember anything about playing up there last year?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great environment. Fans showed out for sure. And, we're expecting that to be, an instance again this year. So, we're just, again, just taking it game by game, not trying to look ahead. We're happy with the result today, and then, we'll worry about BYU. Coming up.
What do you remember about playing alongside AJ DeBenza during the summer?
He's a great kid. He's a good friend of mine. Really talented, really lengthy. He's a good player. So I'm excited to go up in Provo and say what's up to him and play against him.
Well, even back then, were you guys already talking about getting to play against each other at some point?
I mean, I've been playing against those guys my whole life. So especially at the USA camp. So obviously, we're going to meet when you're top of the class, so yeah.
How do you go about defending him, either for Tommy or Koa?
I mean, I think it's just a matter of watching films, picking out his tendencies, seeing what he likes to do. Again, we're just taking it game by game, not trying to jump ahead and look at teams coming up, because we know that February is going to be a tough stretch. So again, just game by game, and we'll key on each team as they come.
You said you obviously, like you said, you played with these guys for a long time with AJ. Like, how did you create that dynamic when you're on USA? All you guys obviously could be the leading scorers, but yet everybody's kind of making sacrifices. How did especially with him, what was that like?
I think that's just basketball in general. When you have a good team, everyone needs to find their niche. So I mean, and especially when you're playing for the USA basketball team, we have one goal, and that's to win. So I don't think really players really cared about their stats or anything. We just wanted to win.
When you're on the floor with Mo, how do you guys play together with each other's strengths?
It's super fun to play with Mo. I think, again, the high-low is a big thing. And then just us crashing the glass, I think he draws so much attention in the paint where it kind of makes it easier for me sometimes to go and chase the ball. And then he's just a smart, high-level player. So, when he catches it in the post, he'll make reads. So he'll throw that dump-down pass, if I cut from the top of the key. So, yeah, it's just really fun to play with him for sure.
Cole, was there any play this past summer that AJ made during those few weeks that make you sit and take notice more than perhaps others?
I mean, he's a great player. He's going to make special plays. So, I mean, I don't think there's a specific play, but, he's a good player, so he's always going to, score the ball and do crazy things.
All set. All right, thanks, guys.